Hiya! Welcome to Geeky Girls Knit and Cross Stitch. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl. I'm glad to have you today. Today's not Monday. It's actually Sunday, the 21st of June. I almost said July. We are almost to July, though. 2020, and this is Stitch With Me, episode 11. I'd like to say a big welcome back. Love you guys to all returning viewers, and a big hiya to any new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. Hope you enjoy the show. On Mondays, I release these Stitch With Me videos. And then my daughter Dammy and I record full-length podcast / FlossTubes that release on Fridays. So today I am going to be continuing to stitch on a pattern from the Pusheen cross stitch kit. As I've shown y'all previously, I have finished the first and second patterns, and now I am working on the third and final. Right there. This is on 14 count Aida that came with this kit, with the 4 floss colors that came with the kit as well. And I am done with everything except for filling in with this tan. So, okay, why I'm recording on Sunday instead of Monday. I'm trying to do my best. I still haven't totally figured out this setup. Because I can't leave it set up. I have to reset it up every time. And I'm trying to remember to hold the fabric where you can see it, but sometimes I get distracted and then I don't hold it in the best manner. But it is what it is. We do what we can, and we just go with it. Okay, why I'm recording on Sunday instead of Monday. I have an appointment tomorrow during the time that I would normally record this. So I am I'm recording it today on Sunday, and I will release it tomorrow as normal. But yeah, this was just the best option. I didn't connect totally when I made the appointment that it was during the time when I normally record this. So we do what we have to do and make adjustments, and that's just how it goes. Okay, I'm trying to think. What's happened since... Well, I mean, literally, we just recorded on Thursday, so it's not been that long since we recorded. But, trying to think of anything out of the norm happened. Oh, poor Pinky. Pink Pearl, our sweet cat. She's sitting on the ottoman in the living room, which is that direction. She got a little stomach bug, and so we've been dealing with a sick kitty over the weekend. And I don't know about y'all, but, like, I have a very, like, when somebody else is stomach sick, my stomach gets sick. So I was like, okay, it's okay, you're not sick, it's Pink Pearl that's sick, you're okay. But yeah, my stomach was kind of tender because I just was having that sympathetic feeling, you know? Craziness, but it is what it is. But she's on the mend, and yeah, I was telling Dammy, it's hard, like, with pets or animals, but also with young children who are sick, but they can't tell you, like, how they're feeling or what's going on. So that makes it tough, because you're like, I just want to know, I just need to know what's going on so I can help you. So, but you make do, and that's how it goes. Well, how about that? That was a mess. I think, oh, it's because... Does anybody else have this problem when they do, like, a loop start or whatever? I always end up with, like, here's the end of one end of the floss, and the other end of the floss is, like, super long. Which is why I didn't do loop starts for a long time, because I always hated having that excess floss. But a loop start's easier, so but I guess you just have to do what you can. Come on, thread. There we go. I just hate because I'm like, oh, I'm wasting it. Wasting all that floss. It ends up getting cut off. Oh, lovely. Okay. Okay, wait, let's see. I need to rip back right there. One strand went through and the other did not. Which makes it now even... No, it's not too bad. Okay, there we go. Rethread the needle, and we'll try this again. There we go. Okay. Okay, well, I'm trying to think. Anything else? I put more pink in my hair. It's kind of making it have kind of a purpley pink kind of look because my natural hair color is so dark. But where all my grays are, you can see like all these pops of pink. So, yeah, I'm liking it more than when I first did it and was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? When I just chopped off my curly pink bangs. But I'm liking it more. So, okay, I can't think of anything else. So why don't we do some hashtag CC's Stitch With Me prompts, which come from this 300 writing prompts book that I got from Barnes & Noble. I'm moving my mouse. Does anybody else hate using the trackpad on a laptop? I hate it. I do not like using the built-in trackpad. I always use a separate mouse. And the one that I'm using right now is one of those, you can't see it very well, that I'll hold it up over here. One of the ergonomic ones where like you hold it like that. And it's amazing because I was having problems with my wrists. And so, love that. Okay. So, I bought this book to, like, use for journaling and then ended up using it, not using it as much for journaling. So I was like, oh, some of these prompts are really good ones to use in a Stitch With Me. So, I just turned to the next page from where we were last time, and we'll go through 3 or so, and go from there. Okay. Number 1, and this probably y'all could guess the answer to this one before I even said it. What do you love doing that you wish you could get paid for? The answer on 3, 1, 2, 3, crafting. Yep. And I kind of do get paid for it. I mean, I know I have not put out a new knitting pattern that I've designed in a while. What happened was, well, for those of you who don't know, Dammy and I have a knitting design business called Java Pearl Designs. And we have released together 3, well, the first book was just me, but we've released as a business 3 physical books of knitting patterns, 10 ebooks of knitting patterns, and 60 some odd. Hold on, I gotta see where I'm at now. 60 some odd individual patterns. The last pattern that I released was a behemoth of a pattern. I did a mystery wrap using like somewhere between, I want to say between like 1,250 and 1,350 yards of a fingering weight yarn, and the wrap was inspired by the My Favorite Murder podcast. And it came out clue by clue, and but this thing was a huge undertaking. I have knit mystery patterns before, but I had never designed one, and that adds a whole new piece to the to the whole project. And so it took a lot of time and energy to do. And that one I released last year in 2019. In 2018, I released a physical book, and I don't know, like somewhere between like 12 and 15 individual patterns. And I burned myself out. I really burned myself out. And so I have actually designed another pattern, and it's been test knit. I just need to do all the finalizing stuff, and I just could not bring myself to do it. I just was so exhausted from the amount of work that I put in that I just could not do it. So I'm hoping later this year that I can release that that sock pattern, as well as I have yarn from a dyer that I'm going to do a cowl pattern using the same or very similar stitch pattern as the sock pattern that I need to release. And so I'm hoping to get that designed and test and tech edited and everything and photographed, and release both of those like at the same time. But I've just got to do it, and I have not done that yet. So, but we, like, you know, all of our patterns are still available for purchase on Ravelry, and our physical books are available on Amazon. Yeah, so I do kind of get paid for crafting, but man, it would be amazing if I could get paid, you know, for sitting and cross-stitching or sitting and knitting. So, I'm sure probably all of us that are watching this could feel the same way. Wish we could get paid for our hobbies. So, okay. I looked at these beforehand, and I was like, oh, I have an answer for these, and then my brain has forgotten. I'm going to skip that one because I can't think of how I was going to answer that one. Let's go to this next one. When have you experienced, quote-unquote, heaven on earth? I would say probably our years living in Scotland, even though they were, you know, there was definitely hard times. We just fell in love with the country and the people and the landscape and we just really fell in love with being in Scotland. And I'm trying to see what I'm going to do on this, because I need to get back up here and do this part that I didn't carry across. I think I'm going to go up here and work down. So, okay. We for those who don't know, we lived in Edinburgh, Scotland for 4 years, from 2013 to 2017. And the Dr. Hubbs was getting his PhD in theology at the University of Edinburgh. I'm trying to think. I probably should go ahead and cross these instead of not crossing them and then forget to come back to them. And so we lived in Edinburgh for 4 years. Dammy was doing their their high school years while we were there. We continued to homeschool because that's what we had been doing previously. We had talked about, and I think we've probably talked about on the podcast before, that if Dammy had been younger in age, we probably would have put them in school in Scotland just for the experience. But because I'm trying to think, 2013, so Dammy turned 14, about a month and a half, 2 months after we moved to Scotland. Because at the time we didn't know if we would be able to stay in Scotland once the Dr. Hubs was done with school, or if we would come back. We decided we didn't want Dammy to have a mixed education in the sense of the structure, because schooling is so different over there in the UK. And we knew that if we came back to the US, we wanted to make sure that Dammy was able to get into a university over here. So we continued homeschooling. Dammy did theater stuff and some classes like that. Yeah, but it was an amazing, amazing experience to live there and do some traveling. The climate, the weather there was so much better for my health. The health care there that I received was amazing. And, you know, even though there were definitely hard times and such, we were just so blessed to be able to spend those 4 years there. And yeah, so we miss Scotland and say, you know, we would go back in a heartbeat. It's just such a lovely, lovely country and lovely people and lovely climate and just amazing. So that would be what I would say was heaven on earth. So, okay, how about this one? How do you act when you're afraid? I guess it depends. Like, am I, like, okay, I have issues with creepy crawly things. Bugs, insects, spiders, snakes, all those things. And if I see one, I am like a freaking out, squealing, yelling for somebody to get it and get it away from me. I freak out. But if we're talking like afraid because of, you know, a situation or an experience or whatever, I tend to clam up and, especially at first, trying to process what's going on. I'm extremely empathetic, which was an amazing skill to have when I was a hospital chaplain. But, you know, if I'm afraid for another person or because of the situation and seeing them go through it, or I'm going through it, or we're going through it together, it's really hard for me because I'm feeling what they're experiencing as well. So I tend to clam up and just like need time to process, and need time to think about what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do, which can be hard when it's like in the moment and it's like something you have to deal with immediately. That's really hard. And so then if that's the case, I tend to get angry and lash out. Because I'm afraid. So that's hard to deal with, and I know everyone deals with being afraid in different ways. So that's a tough one though to, and I think I think that I'm really, really trying to be a more aware and change in a good way how I react to things. And also trying to be aware that, if I react some way in the moment, I'm working on myself to be able to acknowledge it and apologize if I need to, and try to figure out a better way to deal with the situation. And that's not easy, and I don't do it perfectly, and I don't think anybody does. I think that we all continuously have things that we need to be aware of and work on, and we need to be able to grow and learn. A lot of times maybe you've been brought up in a certain way that you react to certain situations in a way that maybe, as you've grown up and years later, you're trying to grow and learn, and that means, needing to take a step back and reassess and figure out, is the way that I have been reacting to and dealing with these things the way that I truly feel and the way that I really should be reacting. And if the case is no, then I think we have to be willing to admit that and take a step back and reassess and figure out how you're going to deal with that moving forward. And it's not easy. It's not easy to admit that, this is the way that I acted and reacted and dealt with this, but maybe that's not what I want to do going forward. And I think it comes down to a fear, because being afraid of being willing to admit that you were wrong. So I kind of spun that question a little differently than I thought I would react, or how I would respond to it. But yeah. Yeah, I think this is especially relevant, right now as I'm becoming more aware of things that have been going on for years and years and years and years in our world, and being a white woman, I have not been aware, and it is my responsibility to take a look at what's going on and acknowledge where I have not dealt with things like maybe they should be dealt with, and so that is something that I think a lot of us hopefully are working on, of becoming more aware of what's going on in the world around us, and maybe the ways that we grew up thinking a certain way and acting in a certain way and reacting in a certain way, and realizing that is not what we should have done or should continue to be doing. And I'm grateful for the people who are providing, their words and their resources to be able to teach and help us become more aware, and help us see where we can be an ally and come beside especially people of color and people who may not be words people who may not be the same as we are. You know, there's lots of ways that that we are different, but there's lots of ways that we are the same. And so I think that we need to be striving to take a look at things every day to see if, you know, there's a change in our beliefs or a change in our actions that need to take place, and acknowledging when we mess up, and just being willing to change and learn and grow, and admit when we make mistakes. So, okay, well, I'm going to stop there because that kind of went off in a direction I didn't expect it to. But that's okay. You know, sometimes things come up that that we just need to talk about. So yeah, I'm going to finish out this row so that I don't have any uncrossed X's, and I want to thank you for being with me today. And you can find Dammy and I online at geekygirlsknit.com. There are links to everywhere else we are online. This is Dammy's line in the regular podcast. iTunes, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Ravelry, etc. And I invite you to join us again on Friday for our regular episode. If you have not watched our 400th episode, which was a little over a week ago, we have 5 really awesome giveaways that we're doing to celebrate our 400th episode, and we will be announcing the winners of those giveaways on this week's episode 402. So if you have not entered yet, you should go watch and find out how to enter, and you might be a winner. So until then, we will see you back here on Friday, and I hope that you have a really, really, there we go, great week ahead. And until I talk to you again, happy crafting, and we'll be back with you on Friday. Bye.